Hey YouTubers, Rob here with a look at another Commodore 64 game. This time we're looking at Hellfire, which was produced by Akedo Arcade Systems and published by Martech in 1988. No, this isn't quite where my handle came from, though it's kind of tangentially related, obviously. Kind of wanted to look at this as a kind of reminder. I saw some discussion over the terrible C64 conversions of Afterburner. Well, conversions, which I'll eventually get to, and got reminded of this, which is the one I always thought was a more playable game. So, essentially, the best way to sum it up is Afterburner with a helicopter and a little more playable. I'll leave the sound effects on. This is a minor gripe, is that you can't have music and sound effects on. I wish it was a case of music or sound effects like most games did, because otherwise the music's actually kind of nice. We'll see how it goes. Maybe we will turn it on. So, first element of convenience, it's all a single loader. Controls itself are pretty simple, standard joystick, lock on like Afterburner, hit space to speed up, and then of course you get your collisions. Everything's sort of on. One thing I like is you got a generous amount of lives here, starting with like 8 lives. You got your lock on indicator in the middle there where it says online. The missiles are kind of a little oddly shaped. You can see my blue ones as I fire them, or greenish blue. I love the little details where you can see the pilots ejecting as they're taken out. So here's the frame rate feels pretty solid. I mean, everything's still nice and responsive. Music's quite nice. Sound effects are pretty solid too. And I think you do get a little sound when the sound effects are on for when their missiles are fired, as they also can come from behind, which memory serves does happen in Afterburner as well. But obviously, when compromise may not be the word, but big difference is the level graphics are a little more repetitive, and you got a lot less enemy types. And that's the first stage done. So the idea is each level you start with 40 missiles, and you just, and as you complete each stage, you do get a bonus for how many are left. And the speed boost, which is just triggered from space, is pretty much a temporary thing. You hit it, it goes up, and then eventually winds its way down, as you can see. The other thing I don't like is collisions can sometimes seem a little random. I mean, that last crash I just did, I don't quite understand whether that was me colliding with the plane. Even that crash then, I did see a missile, and that kind of makes the game a little unfair. But as I said, the thing is, you got a nice, decent-sized play area, some nice, colourful graphics, nice music coming out of the SID chip. In fact, my memory played is I always used to play with sound effects. So I've been that long since I played the game and just forgot about the music, or I mean, it's definitely. I like the little detail now and being able to hit the ground targets, which is getting the extra points. It's actually a nice loaded ground. It's not plain. It's got a lot of ground detail. Pressure-wise, in terms of the challenge, I think it's more really just avoiding those missiles. Again, I think that's where the game falls down a bit, is the missiles, I mean, they're a little more sudden. I think you actually do lose out using the music over the sound effects because you don't hear them. I mean, while the rest of the sprite scaling seems okay, like they're coming up smoothly, you've got plenty of time to react. The missile sprites seem a lot faster, and they don't seem to warn as well. That might be a minor gripe, or it might be me not playing the game properly. See, you can sort of see, like, actually at part of the point that missile sort of disappeared a bit which is a bit of a worry, because for a game like this, where that is your major threat, you need to really, you need to be able to completely go through without being blasted by missiles. mean, I'd love to. Unfortunately, I can't find information says whether or not this was released. Like I said, all I have is the date, the year for 1988, which is the same as the first European conversion of Afterburner. So this may have been made in a response, to try and beat it to market, or as like, no, it can be done better. Unfortunately, again, I never seen this game talked about much. It's not a bad little game. I mean, I think it would be, it feels more like a C64 game than Afterburner did. You've got the larger screen size being used. I will cover Afterburner shortly, so you can sort of see the comparison. But yeah, I think the biggest complaint for me is those missiles where I think it's also the coloring. I think I'd rather have had a simpler missile sprite that was a solid, like, single color sprite rather than a multicolour sprite. And I don't know if that's a limitation of any sprite systems that were used for multiplying the hardware sprites. I mean, some 64 games, a common technique was to use the character mode for bullets, and that tends to not give you the smoothness. But in this case, for a game like this, you really do need that smoothness. So what would I say? All up, I think it's actually a fun little game. I mean, it's a better conversion than Afterburner for a lot of reasons. More play area, more responsive controls, faster gameplay. That problem I have with the missile system, like the missiles sort of becoming a little invisible, being hard to see at times, is probably the other problem I have. I mean, I would probably recommend this over the European version of Afterburner. But of course, I will have videos for that soon, and you can see for yourself. I think there's not much more to show. I can't remember how many levels there are. Again, this is the first time I've played this in a long time, so the skills are definitely rusty. So there we go. That is Hellfire Attack on the C64. It's definitely a fun little shooter. It's definitely much more, definitely what the C64 deserved compared to some other games. That's pretty much that. I hope you enjoyed this, and I look forward to bringing you another game, most likely Afterburner, soon.